Hey everybody, David here, welcome back to BrickVault and to this incredible new creation I got in front of me. This may look familiar to you because it is an update, or rather a completely new custom LEGO build of the Republic Dropship, or Low Altitude Assault Transport Carrier by the builder BrickVault, who designed the all-new atte that I fell in love with last week as well. Now they delight us with this new model of the Republic Dropship, a carrier variant of the Republic Gunship that is used by the Galactic Republic to bring large tanks like the atte or the atte and probably a few more onto the battlefield. This carrier was equipped only with the bare minimum of firepower for coverage during deployment on the battlefield. Instead of a troop bay, it has a giant gap in the middle, framed by magnetizable claws that grab onto whatever they wanted to transport to the battle. This vessel was almost always accompanied by Republic Gunships or other starfighters like Jedi starfighters or Y-Wings for example, so it just made sense for me to show some of our minifigure scale designs next to this 3000 parts build. These parts don't assemble themselves though. For that, a plan of instructions is very helpful, and yes, we have that, plus the parts list available on our web store www.brickvault.toys. When you purchase from us, you'll immediately receive an email with all files so you can get going right away. And if you need to purchase the parts first, we have a tutorial video on our website that guides you through the easy steps to get the parts for your dream creation, if you're not familiar with the process yet. Your purchase directly supports us and the designers from all over the world we work with, like BrickVault, so that's www.brickvault.toys. And back we go to the dropship. As always, here are the dimensions flashing by, and for size reference I have this filter of a vacuum cleaner robot for you. This is almost too large for my review setup here. It has a really impressive wingspan of over 70 centimeters or 28 inches. As with their last build, BrickVault made this blueprint to compare the dimensions to the in-universe ship, which is interesting to see, but let's not waste any more time here and get this behemoth connected to the atte. First thing to mention is that we have this very convenient handle here that is perfectly placed in the center of gravity. I also like how it leaves no gaps when you don't use it. It sits flush with the rest of the build and you would never know that it's actually a handle. And you can see that it's really usable and sturdy. This handle will not come off. I don't know if it's even physically possible that it breaks without breaking the actual pieces. So this is a really good way to handle it and move it around. Connecting the model is a fairly easy process. If you want to carry the atte around, all you need to do is to make sure that the connection assembly is loaded. You don't have to do it like this, it's just for demonstration. Anyways, this is how it looks when it's loaded. You actually have a button on top that does it automatically, as you can see. This is very helpful when you actually want to take off with the atte connected, but I will show you that in a bit. And then you just align the little Technic hole on top of the atte to the mechanism and it grabs it from both sides. Once that's done, you can just take off with the atte connected. To drop it back down, all you need to do is to push on a small white section on top and the mechanism releases the atte and simultaneously loads the mechanism back up so you can go for another pickup. Really clever design, and your hands are far away enough so that it feels kinda magic releasing the atte. And of course you don't have to manually load the mechanism again, which is pretty neat. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, that'd be pretty stupid if I did. Well, never mind. Yep, that actually happened to me. Here's also a slow-mo for your enjoyment. Was 100% my fault though, just didn't pay attention to the locking mechanism. Had to rebuild it, took me probably an hour, but yeah, got reminded that it's still LEGO. Now, if you want to display the dropship on top of the atte, BrickVault included a couple of stands that first need to be connected to both models. First, you gotta put this assembly beneath the belly of the atte, and once that's done, we're ready to put the dropship back on top. Now, for the nose to not sag, we need to insert this Technic assembly into a hole in the bottom, and we're good to go. What a menacing look. Takes up quite some space like that, but it's absolutely worth it. I'm actually thinking about getting a second atte, so I can put one in the display case that I will hopefully have in a couple of weeks in my studio, and one to display the dropship on. Would also be a good opportunity to get the other color variant of the atte. But anyways, I'm getting distracted a little bit. Since we're at it, let's also see how it works with my atte. I'd like to put a little something beneath the belly to hold it up properly, and you have to attach a couple of lift arms here that are included in the dropship files, and then just drop it on top, and the head can rest on the head of the atte, and as easy as that. And last but not least, hardcore Star Wars fans noticed that one walker is missing. We can also connect the dropship on our all-new atte, which will get released on Saturday. We have this stand for that and a little sub-assembly that goes beneath the dropship nose stand, and just like that, it can rest on top. I just love that it can pick up any Republic tank. It doesn't get much better than this. I love the interconnectability here. Let's dive into the techniques of the dropship. The first thing that pops out to me is the fact that this long middle section is actually angled inwards slightly, which is accurate to the movies and very impressive to have figured out in LEGO. Trust me, there is a Technic structure beneath the white shell that holds the model together like a rock. The pipe detailing on the side is really nicely captured as well. Also noticeable is that the designer used regular blue for the accent color, which I have to admit is probably the right color looking at some of the reference material out there. Similar to Busker's atte, this dropship model has the right amount of studs in my opinion. I can absolutely still appreciate the snot techniques all over this, but the wedge plate pieces that openly show studs give this the perfect balance between smooth and textured. The front captures the black line and the diamond shape here really well, and I like how the cockpit piece inserts a little into the blue Technic pieces. It's super easy to open up though, just lift the whole assembly up by this blue slope piece, and inside you have room to fit a pilot. You also have some interior detail for the cockpit as you can see. Busker included a leather piece and a printed console. Both claws are built upside down and they're stuck in place at that angle, which is actually the perfect angle for when it sits on top of the atte because they perfectly line up with the shoulder joint of the atte's middle legs. I can't imagine the try and error phase of designing it like this, but small details like this makes this and the atte so outstandingly good. The wings are built with plates and tiles, and going up you see that we have some snot building for the waist area here. Further up you can also see this antenna radar thingy, which has some cool building techniques itself. And again, you can find small details even beneath this assembly. Here at the back, I really like the build for the heat vents, and you gotta appreciate the Lego math here of how the slope and wedge plate line up so perfect with the tiles. I'm a sucker for techniques like this, so hopefully I showed you everything you wanted to see. But before I talk about where you can get the instructions and to like and subscribe, I need to show you one more thing, and that's a comparison between the older dropship and this new one. Again, I myself am the designer of this older dropship, so it's especially cool for me to see how others tackle this complicated ship design in LEGO bricks. Back in 2020, when I designed this, there weren't really any good representations of this dropship in LEGO form out there, and I still think that it is somewhat underrepresented in the mod community, at least when it comes to highly detailed and accurate mocks like these. That also means that you don't have much reference content out there to get inspired by. Having that in mind, it makes Busker's model even more impressive. The main difference is that I went with a darker blue, which we just learned in this video is rather inaccurate. You can also see that their model captures more angles, like the inward sloping of the walls towards the head. My model also lacks important details like under the wing and also beneath the roof contraption. Generally, my model feels much bulkier than Busker's model. Here's another quick look at the old dropship and atte combo compared to the new version. I still generally like my model, had a ton of fun building it back then, but you can't deny that this new rendition is much more accurate and detailed and features so much more interesting techniques to observe. So heads off from designer to designer, and yeah, if you want to build this model for yourself, you know where to get the instructions and parts list. That's www.brickvault.toys. You can find a link to the product listing in the description. A little side note, I'm in the process of setting up my new studio here in Germany. Yes, I'm German, if you didn't hear that already. Only thing missing are the display cases for all the models and a good bunch of the models themselves, but once they are here, let me know in the comments if you all would like to see a studio tour. Anyways, thank you for watching until now. Please consider liking and subscribing and share this video with your friends so this model gets the recognition it deserves, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.